Preparations are underway for the ceremony where President Cyril Ramaphosa will hand over AmaZulu King Misuzulu KaZwelithini a certificate to recognize him as such. The event will take place at Durban's Moses Mabhida Stadium this Saturday. Misuzulu KaZwelithini is the 9th Zulu King. Let's get more details on the meaning of the event. I'm joined by Professor Sihawu Ngubane, a cultural expert. Professor, good morning and thank you very much for your time. I must say citizens are waiting with bated breath for that momentous occasion this Saturday. Just talk us through the significance of this event.
Thank you very much, Mfundo, for inviting me. I think this is going to be a joyous occasion where we all anticipate that people will gather at Moses Mabhida Stadium to mark the official handover of certificate by the President to His Majesty, the King Misuzulu KaZwelithini.
You know, there's been criticism, or at least clarity, that was shared by some that this particular event is not necessarily as significant as the entering of the kraal. Would there be any specific traditional practices that are observed in this particular ceremony this Saturday?
I think they are absolutely correct. The traditional leg of the coronation was completed at Kwakhangela Mankengane. And this time it is a government event because you know that when a king is nominated, there are processes that are followed through the provincial government, through to COGTA, and then the state president will endorse the decision. So it is the government occasion, but it is also equally significant for the Zulu people for the affirmation of the throne.
And then let's talk about the disunity that we've witnessed since the passing of King Zwelithini. It has had many asking if there's possibly no better way of managing succession going forward. Could there be other ways to manage succession?
When you deal with human beings are unpredictable and you cannot guarantee what will happen next. But in cases such as this, there is always a succession debacle between the royal family members. So it's something that you can never prevent it from happening because some of these things occur within the family, the ruling family, the relative, the close relative. So it's a feud that sits in the royal family themselves, and it's about them coming down, sitting down and reconciling. But you cannot stop these conflicts going on.
But would it not perhaps be something that is managed in a case where the king would then pronounce who his successor would be earlier on, where they somehow manage expectations, even though it is a polygamous marriage, but there would be a managing of expectation of other wives, that yes, you remain a wife, you are loved, these are princes, but the heir is this particular child, and maybe then follow the process of having the child taken to live elsewhere, as we have heard in many other tribes, where we say, where they take that child to live elsewhere and only be brought back into the family closer to the time for them to ascend.
This is exactly what is happening right now within the Zulu kingdom because King Misuzulu was in exile in Swaziland. That's where he started his early academic journey. And then we only saw him during the passing on of His Majesty. No one ever knew him. We've never seen him before. But he was set in exile or outside the province. Maybe he would come for specific ceremonies and leave. But the fact of the matter is that a king, the heir will be taken away from the community and the public eye until such time he comes back to ascend the throne. So this is what exactly has happened. And also the tradition dictates it is not about the king himself pronouncing who's going to take over when he is gone. But the tradition dictates that the heir will come from the great wife in a polygamous marriage. So it is a matter of respect for the tradition of the Zulu people.
But it
So this
seems
is
it
what
was
is
more,
happening.
apologies for interjecting, but it seems it was more apparent to you as scholars, but in the family, what we've seen with everybody perhaps fielding their own candidate to say, we believe this is the rightful heir, it seems it clearly wasn't as apparent to them as a family.
Yes, this is what I alluded to you earlier, that it is the feud that rests within the royal family members, because they seem to have forgotten what the tradition dictates. Because if there were senior people within the family, they would have advised them before that this is what happens when a king dies. Because it is known that when a king dies, there is no pronouncement that the king has passed on. But they take the name of the person who is going to succeed first, and then that person becomes responsible for the for the whole process after the departed king. So this should have happened in that way, but in this case, people were told that the late king is gone, and that's where the trouble started. But usually, even when a king passes on, the people are told that the king is critical in hospital or wherever he is, and they are not even they don't communicate he is passing on to avoid such disputes happening. So it was unfortunate that it happened this way.
But talk to us about the role played by the Zulu Prime Minister, Mr. Mangosuthu, in this instance, because it seems that his presence in that family really sort of kept them together no matter what, until they now have arrived at this position where this Saturday there will be that coronation.
Yeah, I think Prince Buthelezi has played a significant role in trying to restore the situation and restore unity amongst the royal family. And he's still trying very hard. We see him going out in public to pronounce who the real king is. And he was responsible for reading the will. And I think he played a very, very amazing role to sustain the Zulu kingdom in support of King Misuzulu KaZwelithini.
But he's of an advanced age now. Perhaps he would want to retire from this role if there is such an option to retire. What would be the process, perhaps, of someone succeeding him? Would it continue perhaps in his family, where maybe his successor is one of his sons that becomes the Zulu Prime Minister? What would be the process there?
The decision lies within the king, the incumbent king, to decide who should be the next prime minister of the Zulu nation. And I think that decision is his prerogative, and it's his right to choose who should be the traditional minister of the Zulu kingdom.
Professor, thank you very much for your insights this morning.